Today we're doing Math 6, Mission 4, Lesson 9. How much in each group, Part 2. All right. Decide whether each of the following is greater than 1 or less than 1. So before we jump into this warm-up, let's talk through some things. So if I used regular whole numbers like 4 divided by 2, right? 4 divided by 2 is 2. So is this greater than 1 or less than 1? Well, this is greater than 1. Okay. The answer is 2, so it's definitely greater than 1. But what if I did 2 divided by 4? Well, 2 divided by 4 is 2 over 4, which can be reduced to 1/2. So that is actually less than 1. Less than 1. So what we can see that if the bigger number is first, if we do the bigger number divided by the smaller number, then the answer is going to be greater than 1. If we have a smaller number divided by a bigger number, the answer is going to be less than 1. Okay, so that's going to help us in our warm-up here. So 1/2 divided by 1/4. Which number is bigger? Is 1/2 bigger or 1/4 bigger? Well, would you rather have half a cookie or a fourth of a cookie if you want a whole cookie, right? So the half is going to be bigger. So this is your bigger number, and the 1/4 is your smaller number. So this answer is going to be greater than 1 because you have a bigger number divided by a smaller number. 1 divided by 3/4. Well, 1 is the bigger number, 3/4 is a smaller number, so it's going to be greater than 1. 2/3 divided by 7/8. Now this might be hard to see, and if you need to get them into common denominators, you totally can, right? But 7/8, 8 is a bigger number, and so having 7 be 1 away from it versus 2/3, 3 is a smaller number than 8. So even though 2 is only 1 away from 3 and 7 is only 1 away from 8, 7/8 is actually the bigger number. And I can show that to you because we can do 2/3 and we can do 7/8. And the common multiple between 3 and 8 is, let's just do 24, right? So 8 times 3 is 24. 7 times 3 is 21. And then 3 times 8 is 24. And 2 times 8 is 16. So you can see when we get them into common denominators, 7/8 is the bigger number. So you have a smaller number divided by a bigger number. And when that happens, our answer is going to be less than 1. Okay, now let's do this. 2 and 7/8 divided by 2 and 3/5. Well, again, 7/8 is going to be bigger than 3/5. So this is the bigger number divided by the smaller number. So this answer is going to be greater than 1. All right, let's go on to our activity. Okay, so it says, write a multiplication equation and a division equation. So we have 2 equations that we're drawing, or that we're writing, and draw a diagram to represent each situation in question. Then find the answer. So we have 4 things that we're doing. And explain your reasoning. Your diagram is explaining, okay? So let's read this. Jada bought 3.5 yards of fabric for $21. How much did each yard cost? Okay, so we want to know the cost per yard. Cost per yard. So that means we are doing the cost divided by the yard. So the cost is $21 and the yards is 3.5. So our division equation is 21 divided by 3.5 equals something. So our multiplication equation is going to be 3.5 times something equals 21. Okay, so as we do this, we have 3.5 yards. Okay, and we know that 3.5 yards costs $21. So here is 1 yard, 2 yards, 3 yards, and then I have to do a 4th yard, but we're only going to use half of that yard. Okay, so I'm going to split these into halves because I only want to use 3.5, so I need to get rid of that half. Now, we know that this 3.5 yards costs $21. So what does each half yard cost, right? So that we can figure out what 1 yard costs. So we're trying to figure out 1 yard, okay? Well, how many half yards do we have in 3.5? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we really need to do 21 divided by 7 because each half yard has to be the same amount. And since there are 7 half yards, what is 21 divided by 7? Well, 21 divided by 7 is 3. So each one of these should be 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. Okay, so then how much does 1 yard cost? That's our red here. So we would have to do 3 plus 3, or 3 times 2, which is 6. So it costs $6. 1 yard costs $6. Now, that's using the diagram. Let's try the keep, change, flip option. Okay, so to divide fractions, I'm going to keep the first number, which is 21, and that's a whole number, so I can put that over 1. I'm going to change the division sign to a multiplication sign. And then 3.5, we need to turn that into an improper fraction. So 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. So that's 7 halves. We have to flip that. So instead of 7 halves, it now becomes 2 sevenths. And then we multiply across. But what's cool is we can cross reduce first. 21 and 7 goes into both of those. 7 goes into 7 1 time. 7 goes into 21 3 times. So now we're doing 3 times 2, which is 6, and 1 times 1, which is 1. 6 over 1 is 6. So we get our same answer. So we've written a multiplication equation, a division equation, we've drawn the diagram, and we have found the answer. All right, let's go on to the next one. 4/9 kilogram of baking soda costs $2. How much does 1 kilogram of baking soda cost? So we are trying to find the cost of a kilogram. So we want price per kilogram, okay? So if we're going to write a division equation with that, we're going to do the cost, which is $2, divided by the kilograms, which is 4/9 equals something. So if we're going to do a multiplication equation, that's 4/9 times something equals 2. All right, so let's draw this. If we know that 4/9 is the same as $2, 4/9 kilograms equals $2, let's draw our 4/9. But we know we can't just draw 4/9. We have to draw a whole and then only look at the 4/9, right? So we're going to split this into 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so there are 9 pieces. But remember, 4/9 equals $2. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 ninths, and that's worth $2, right? But we want to know how much 1 kilogram is worth. So we need to know this whole thing's worth, right? So then we're going to get another 4/9. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4/9. And that also equals $2. So now we're up to $4. And then we have to do our number of leftovers over number in each group. So we have 1 leftover. And how many are in each group? Well, 1, 2, 3. There's 4 in each group. Okay. So, but this is 1/4 of $2. Because remember, each group costs $2 and we're trying to find cost. So we need 1/4 of $2. Okay? So here's $1 and here's another $1 in fourths. And we need 1/4 of $2. Ooh, I did not need to draw in because we're doing $2. I apologize. So we're going to have 1/2, meaning this is $2, and we need it in fourths. So this is $2. Okay. 1/4 of $2. Well, 2 needs to be split between 4. So each is going to be 50 cents. So 1/4 is actually 50 cents because here would be $1. So half of $1 is 50 cents. So the answer is $4.50. Now let's try our keep change flip to see if we get $4.50. So we have 2 over 1. We keep that. We change the division to multiplication, and we flip the 4/9 to be 9/4. Now we can cross reduce. 2 goes into 2 one time. 2 goes into 4 2 times. So 1 times 9 is 9. 1 times 2 is 2. 9 halves. 2 goes into 9 how many times? 4 times with 1 left over, 1 out of 2. So 4.5, when we change it into decimal form, because money's in decimal form, we get $4.50. Okay? Let's go to 3. Diego can fill 1 1/5 bottles with 3 liters of water. How many liters of water fill 1 bottle? All right, so we want liters per bottle. So we're going to do liters, so 3 liters divided by 1 1/5 bottles equals something. There's our division equation. So let's do a multiplication equation. So 1 1/5 times something equals 3. All right, now let's draw our diagram. So because it's a bottle of water, I do vertical instead of horizontal because water bottles stand up vertically. So I need 1 whole water bottle and 1/5 of a water bottle. So 1 whole water bottle is going to have 5 pieces in it, right? And then we're going to add a 1/5 on top of it to get 1 1/5. So here's our bottle. This will have 5 pieces in it. And then we're going to add another 1/5 piece because that would be 1, which is 5/5, plus 1/5. Okay, so we should have 6/5. Okay, now you could have drawn a whole nother bottle, right? So you could have gone like this. Here's my 1 bottle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then here's my other bottle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we only want 1/5 of that. So we're only going there, right? And we're ignoring this. We could totally do that. Okay, now, Diego can fill 1 1/5 bottles with 3 liters of water. So all of this is 3 liters of water. So that means that 3 needs to be divided evenly between these pieces. Well, how many pieces do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3 divided by 6, that means each piece is worth half of a liter. Okay? So half of a liter. So 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2. And if I add my halves together, that gets me 1, 2, 3, which is 3 liters. But it only asks to fill 1 water bottle. So 1 water bottle is going to be right here, 5/5. 5/5 is the same as 1. So how many halves are in 5/5? Well, we have 1, 2, and a half. So how much will fill one bottle? 2.5 liters. Now let's check it with the keep, change, flip option. So we're going to keep the 3 over 1. We're going to change the division to multiplication. And then this 1 1/5 is the same as 6/5. So we're going to flip 6/5 to be 5/6. Now, we can cross reduce. 3 goes into 3 one time. 3 goes into 6 two times. So 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. So 5 halves comes to 2 goes into 5 two times with 1 left over. So we have 2.5. All right, we're going to do one more. 5/4 gallons of water fill 5/6 of a bucket. How many gallons of water fill the entire bucket? So we have a bucket. Here's my bucket. And a whole bucket would be 6/6. So sorry, I got ahead of myself. Let's do our division and multiplication equation. How many gallons of water fill an entire bucket? So we have gallons per bucket, right? So we have 5/4 divided by 5/6 equal something. So 5/6 times something equals 5/4. Okay, so we have our bucket. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. So that gets us 6. We split our bucket into 6/6 because that's one whole. But only 5/6 of the bucket is filled with water. So only that much is filled with water. Okay? And this equals 5/4 of a gallon. So how many pieces do we have? Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means that each piece, if we have 5/4, that's 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. 5 1/4. Well, we have 5 pieces, so that means each piece is worth 1/4. So, let it save. I can't write when it's saving. Here we go. 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4. So, if each of these pieces is worth 1/4, then this top piece must also be worth 1/4 because they're all the same size pieces. So, how many gallons of water fill the entire bucket? Well, that would be adding another 1/4, which would make it 6/4. And we can reduce 6/4 to 3 halves, and we can turn that into a mixed number, which is 1 and 1/2. So let's try our keep, change, flip model. So we are going to keep the 5/4. We are going to change division to multiplication, and we're going to flip the 5/6 to be 6/5. Now we can cross reduce. 5 goes into 5 one time. 5 goes into 5 one time. So this becomes 6/4, which we saw here. And 6/4 can be reduced to 3 halves, which can be turned into a mixed number of 1 and 1/2. So, how many gallons of water to fill the entire bucket? We need 1.5 gallons. Okay. Try activity 2 on your own. It's asking you to think of a situation that involves a question that can be represented by 1/3 divided by 1/4. Okay. And then don't forget to review your lesson summary.